Hey everyone, welcome to another soap making video for Petrichor Soap Company. I'm Mel, and I hope you guys have been doing good. Winter has well and truly hit here, so we've got some snow on the ground, even though it's quite warm and rainy today, which is very uncommon for our area. But we do have a pretty big dump of snow coming in a few days, which is inevitable. Today I am making my Wildflower soap. This is a redesign. So the very first time, this is actually one of the very first soaps that I opened my shop with. This used to just be a plain creamy white bar with the botanicals on top, but this time I wanted to add a little something, so I am going to do half of the bar in a really pretty French pink clay, which is one of my favorite colorants to use. And the first time I made this soap, I loved the fragrance, but unfortunately it faded quite quickly out of the bars. So I had to try a different fragrance for this go around. And this bar is sort of cursed at this point because this one that I tried actually ends up ricing. Nothing so bad that I couldn't get it in the mold, but definitely not one that I want to use again for the next time that I make this bar. So, and it's too bad because it's a really, really nice smelling scent. It's a lavender and vetiver. So it's got that really beautiful herbal notes of the lavender with the green notes of the vetiver. And I really love it, but it just doesn't play well enough in the soap. So I just added the French pink clay into the base there, and I'm going to add in some titanium dioxide dispersed in water just to lighten it up a little, give it more of that pastel color. And then I'll put some TD into the top layer as well. This is our standard oat milk recipe. So the oat milk already went in at the very beginning of the video. So I just wanted to let you guys know that the holiday release for the website it's live, and we do have some really exciting new products up there, including our emulsified body butters, which I am super in love with. They're just really creamy, decadent, smooth, and infused with a bunch of oat goodness. They got colloidal oats in them. They have a hydrolyzed oat protein, just things that are really going to treat your skin well. I use it every morning as soon as I get out of the shower. I just use the unscented one. That's my favorite. And then we have candles. Finally, the candles are ready. They're up and they are, ready for you to purchase with for your holiday gifts. So, it's kind of hard to see because we're a bit far away, but yeah, it is ricing. So ricing is when your fragrance oil, as soon as it contacts the base oils, it immediately saponifies. So you end up with these little tiny chunks that look like rice in your soap batter, hence the name. And if it's not too bad, usually you can stick blend it out. Sometimes it just goes completely smooth after. But with this fragrance, there is still a bit of texture left over, and you'll see that in the final bar. It ends up with like a little kind of very fine pebbly texture. It's difficult to describe, but you'll see when we get to the end here. So I keep checking on the bell of the stick blender to see if I can see those little particles of solid fats, and then I just keep stick blending until I'm happy with how smooth it is. And anytime you're working with florals, it's like a wild card. You never know what's going to happen. And this, again, was the first time that I was working with this fragrance. That's why I just started with a little tiny batch. and I'm still checking until I'm to see what it's doing. Also checking to see if it's going to accelerate because that's the other thing with florals when you're working with them for the first time. Sometimes they might set up on you really quickly, but really this one played really nice except for that silly ricing. I'm still angry about it because I like the scent so much. I wish it worked. Um, so yeah, we've got the new items up on the website for you guys, and also tomorrow, or I guess today, the day this video is coming out, is going to be a celebration of Small Business Saturday. Um, and for that, I am going to be sending out a special coupon code to everybody who is subscribed to our newsletter. It's going to be an exclusive just for newsletter subscribers, just a bit of incentive, and just a little bit of a help if you're, wanting to buy some gifts for this holiday season. And if not for me, then I sincerely hope that you're able to get out and support another small business in your area, a local business, because it's so important this time of year to sort of give the big corporations a break and focus on some people who are around you in your community, making things, trying to support themselves and support their families and support their dreams. So I'm just layering on the white layer on top. I'm just trying to be careful about not breaking through. I'm not trying to make a perfect line. I very rarely do. But I just want to make sure that there's a really nice plain creamy white top for me to put the lovely botanicals on so that they stand out as much as possible. Getting out every last drop of soap batter. Trying to, at least the more you scrape out, the less you waste and the easier it is to do your dishes when it comes time for that. And the botanicals that I'm going to be putting on top today, or on the day that I made this video, is a combination of rose petals, chamomile from my garden, and beautiful lavender buds. And again, I get my lavender buds from Bilston Farms on Vancouver Island. And just going ahead with my regular swoopy soap texture, and then I'll get the botanicals put on top. And for this bar, because it's Wildflower and the emphasis really is on the flowers, I really pack them on there much more than I do for the other bars. I just think it gives a really pretty look at the end. And really this design is one of my favorites, so it's a little tragic that I keep struggling to find a fragrance that works. So, I mean, if you're in Canada and you feel generous enough to let me know sort of a wildflower or like a green flowery scent that you like that works well with soap, then I'd love it if you'd share that with me. But if not, I'm going to keep looking, and I'll find the right one someday. But there we go. Those are those botanicals. I'm hoping that I get some chamomile back in my garden this year. I'm sure I will. It self-seeds like crazy, and I grew a lot of it last year, so almost more than I could harvest near the end. So I'm sure that I'll have quite a lot to work with again after next summer. So in between here and now, I did have my only market of the holiday season, the Crescent Moon Curio Mini Market that was in Edmonton, and it went really good. It was a little quiet, but I almost didn't mind because when I do markets, I am by myself. And it can get pretty hectic if it's just me trying to help too many people. And I'm still getting used to the in-person market thing, and so kind of easing myself back in there with a less busy crowd is, it was beneficial for me. But it was good. We made back the cost of the table, got to meet some really amazing people, and also connect with some people not only from Edmonton but also from Leduc, the town that I live in. I shouldn't call it a town; it's a city. But I got to meet some people that are based out of Leduc as well, and that was really exciting. I love connecting with other small businesses that are near me. So after tapping in those botanicals, this is where we're at. So just beautiful combination of the purples, the pinks, and the yellow and white. Again, I just love it. I love how it looks. Really cottagey, cottage core if you're into that. um, I think it would look at home in a beautiful cottage bathroom. That's where I can picture it. Or by the sink of a cottage in the woods in the kitchen. So here's the cut, and anytime that you've got botanicals or anything on the top of the soap, it's a good idea to try to put the botanicals on the bottom and then cut down, and you just minimize dragging them through the soap. But because it's just so loaded, you're inevitably going to get drag marks. So you can see one there, but I really don't mind. It just adds to the rustic feel of the bar, and I'm all about that. You can plane it off if it really bugs you, but I'm not a fan of that. I already bevel the soaps and I wrap each one by hand, so just increasing the amount of labor that I put into the bar, it's just not worth it when it's just an aesthetic thing. The beveling I choose to do because it's not just aesthetic, it has to do with the feel and the enjoyment of the bar when you use it for the first time. But for drag marks, yeah, just a purely aesthetic issue. And you can see that the line's not quite perfect, but it wasn't supposed to be. I love that imperfect, wavy look to it. And that French pink clay for a natural colorant, especially when you add a little bit of titanium dioxide to it, just goes such a beautiful pastel pink. I just, yeah, I love it. Is it like the 10th time that I've said that I love this bar? But I really do. So I hope your holiday preparations are well underway. I'm probably going to be putting my tree up in the next week or two. It's not up yet, but we're still at the end of November. So here you go. You can see when you look at the side of the bar, you'll see a bit of like that little bit of bumpy texture. That's the ricing in there. Still perfectly wonderful. Great bar of soap, but just a little bit issues from the ricing. So, but thanks so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your week.